Yeah. What's
Hey,
up, everybody?
what's going on? Hey, Jared.
How we
Hey,
doing?
Jared.
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
Doing great. Good to have
So,
you on.
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
so excited to have this special guest on today, Jared Mast, head of pop culture at Goldin Auctions. How you doing, man?
Doing well. Just another sunny day here in Florida, and happy to
Hey,
be on with you guys.
yeah,
Nice.
likewise. Likewise from out in California, the Sunshine
There you
States,
go.
huh?
It's a sunny day in Colorado too. No
Hey,
snow
there we
today for
go.
Hey,
once.
Trifecta.
we all must be doing something right, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really excited to dive into the questions and talk about Goldin and your career in collecting as well. Before we do that, just want to make sure everyone out there knows we're giving away some awesome comics. We're giving away X-Men 97. These are brand new comics that were released actually in on VV and also in physical format, of course. And you can enter by going to our Twitter page in the tweet that's pinned to our Twitter account. So make sure to get involved in that giveaway. And also, we have a newsletter. Yeah, very cool newsletter. We do it bi-weekly. We have blogs. We talk about big sales and physical and digital collectibles. We talk about awesome collectibles that are coming to auction. Yeah, we've definitely mentioned Golden auctions quite a few times in there as well.
Oh yeah.
So
Very regularly.
Here.
Yeah. I feel like probably almost every issue at this point.
yeah,
You,
definitely.
you guys are only selling cool stuff, so we always want to feature it.
Yeah,
That's the goal, man. It's the people's auction. We love to bring good stuff to everybody. So
heck yeah, that's awesome. So Jared, man, it's so good to have you on. We've been able to chat for a few months now, and it's been great getting to know you. And actually, I know we talked about this initially, but maybe we'll do a little bit of background. If you could tell us about your history as a collector and what led you to Golden.
sure. So my father was a collector. He kind of got me involved with everything from a real early age. I mean, from like 4 or 5 years old. There was Beatles autographs, Mickey Mantle, Babe Ruth stuff,
Oh, cool.
left and right. He was selling Cracker Jack sets on Mastro auctions back in the day, and doing
Yeah,
the live auctions at Hunt in the Philadelphia area, and encountered Ken during that time too. And so I was always just kind of involved in the high end echelon of collecting.
Was
And
he doing that professionally, or was that just a kind of
no,
a hobby for him?
he was just a hobby guy. He was just
Yeah.
somebody that was really into baseball, really into the Beatles. And so he just kind of focused on the Yankees and the Beatles at first, and got me involved with cards and particularly Pokemon. And we just kind of
Nice.
bonded over that stuff. And at 19, I decided I was gonna join what was American Memorabilia at the time, which was a huge game used auction house at that time in 2008, and got my feet wet as a consignment director at that age, and have stayed in the industry ever since. And I was lucky enough to sell the first ever registered PSA 10 Pokemon set.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
wow,
yeah, and that was Goldin's first ever Pokemon sale, and so that kind of put me on the
That,
map,
yeah.
obviously, with them as far as doing something. And now I'm managing the category and helping bring all this cool stuff to the people, and it's just it's beautiful. So that's kind of how I got involved with everything.
That's
that's
incredible.
awesome. And for everyone out there, head of pop culture, what exactly does that cover at Golden?
Any and all things. It's really
Yeah,
it's really anything weird. It's anything that's not sports related. We do have a comic team as well that they
yeah,
handle those in particular, and so, but pop culture encompasses comics, but really anything that is not sports is in the realm. We deal with history, we deal with type 1 photos, we deal with cassettes, we deal with VHS, we deal with TCG. I mean, I could keep going. So it's really vast, and like I said in the beginning, it's for the people. It's one
yeah.
of those categories that's a lot more spread out, and because of that, there's a lot more minutia to it, and it's more in the weeds, which I tend to enjoy.
That's
Cool.
awesome. And we've actually had Ashley Cotter, Cairns, and Sean, and not Sean Goodrich yet, but we've had Ashley on the podcast a couple
Yeah.
of times. Big shout out to them from the Golden Team Comic Division.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
man,
awesome.
yeah, and man, for pop culture, I mean, that covers so many categories, and there's so many emerging markets. What are some markets that you're really excited about right now for
Really
collectibles?
for really for me, I love TCG.
Yeah.
I'm always a big component of Pokemon. Anytime you see kids playing with something, those kids are going to grow up. I look at myself and how I kind of went through my collectibles journey, which was so much earlier than most people. And because of that, I kind of have a forward way of thinking, and I look at what the kids are kind of into, and man, Pokemon's just still huge.
Oh,
And like for more things on a broader scale, I really do believe in autographs. I think we're kind of getting more digitalized, as you guys know, and a lot of hard, tangible signatures and things of that nature are becoming more and more rare. It's something where you don't really sign as much as you used to. Handwriting's not as important as it was.
right.
Totally.
So that kind of stuff is always going to be intriguing, I think, and collectible, and just by nature going to be more rare as technology goes on.
Yeah, that makes sense. Are you seeing any like kind of like newer TCGs getting popular, or is it mostly still like Pokemon and Magic and kind of the ones that have been popular for a while?
I mean, One Piece has been going nuts. It's
Oh,
something
really?
where you see a lot of attention in One Piece. The animes and the mangas are getting a lot of love.
Totally.
Beckett just started grading those, and
Yeah.
it's it's going to be interesting. Once we have more sales in the ladder, and when I'm saying the ladder, just like the ability for people to understand the values, because it takes a little bit of time. I think those categories are going to see a lot of upside too. It's just with One Piece and some of these newer ones, I kind of take a step back. I enjoy it. I have to know it, but at the same time, it's not something I fully could say is a category that I'm 100% behind right now, just because it's so new. Like I said, you
Right.
got to let these things kind of stick to the wall a little bit. For me, as someone that's been around, and I'm excited for everyone that enjoys it, and just excited to see the growth of the category.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, you seem
Definitely.
like Disney, the Disney Lorcana cards are also kind of one of the newer ones that have been. We've seen some pretty big sales for them. I also kind of we'll see where they go, but at least so far there's been some popularity.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, those things are iconic. Those
Mhm.
those IPs and those characters are something that connect on so many different levels for people. And so, as that develops through different years of the cards and different makes and models, I think you're going to see people kind of reach back into those original Lorcanas and see some growth there.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
I just
We're
want to.
involved in a lot of community. Sorry, go ahead, Spencer.
No, you go ahead, John.
Involved in a lot of communities, and I think a lot of people don't really truly understand how crazy Disney fans are in the best way.
Yeah,
That was a
yeah,
compliment, by the way, to
yeah,
all Disney fans.
yeah.
They are passionate group.
Enthusiastic.
It's very enthusiastic, very passionate collectors. Yeah, it's very exciting to see and meet Disney fans and collectors throughout our journey.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean they can make even the pins and the stuff
Oh,
from going
Mast.
to Disneyland. It's
Yeah,
crazy. Like
yeah,
I appreciate anything anyone finds enjoyment in, and
Totally.
it is pretty crazy the minutia that they get into with all the Disney things. But at the same time, Disney feeds into it. They love it, and for everybody, it just keeps on turning. It's really cool because they keep on putting out those new products, keeps everyone engaged, and with that, it keeps everyone enjoying the collectible.
Totally.
definitely.
Yeah. I wanted to give a quick shout out to some of our audience members, some of our community members. What's going on,
What's
Slider?
up,
How's it
Slider?
going?
Thanks for joining,
What's up, Jason?
Jason.
And he's gonna spend some money after this. Fair. We'll see. What's up,
What's up,
Omar?
Omar? Thanks for joining.
Jason, what's
Up
going on? Up
crypto.
crypto.
So,
Oh, and we got Brian Wells in the house too.
oh,
We got a, we
Brian.
got we got a
Hey,
full
Brian.
crowd.
Oh, so this is really wow, this is awesome for me personally because Up Crypto, so Jason actually introduced me into the sealed media market, especially video games and VHS. So
Mhm.
big shout out to Jason. And then Brian Wells actually pretty much taught me everything I know about comic books. So big shout out to Brian and Jason. That's awesome. Thanks for joining, guys. That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
That's
Yeah.
a big part of your collectibles journey. It always is
It
having
really
those
is.
mentors and
Yeah.
those people that
Totally.
are involved. That was part of the reason I wanted to work for Ken, to be honest with you, is because I wanted to learn from somebody that I respect and somebody that I think
Yeah.
is one of the best on earth, if not the best.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's awesome. It actually, so the previous question kind of pivots me to another topic. We've been really passionate about sealed media, and it's been really exciting to see a lot of the community and collectors are growing in the sealed media market, not just for cassettes and vinyl, but also for VHS tapes. If somebody told me 2 years ago that, Sean, you're going to start collecting VHS tapes and you're going to be excited about it, I would have said you're nuts. And now, like, I am beyond passionate. Spencer, myself, and Kevin included. All of us are really passionate about the future of the sealed collectibles market.
Yeah, it's crazy. I brought that idea up at Goldin. We were the first ones to have a major auction with VHS tapes, and ever since we're just keep on rolling through. It's crazy to see how much interest there is, and the intricacies of the tapes, the different codes, the different stickers, the different things that kind of pinpoint the time frames. That is really true for all sealed markets. It's really about understanding the print runs of the games and kind of the manufacturing details, from something like, even the Pokemon games to obviously the VHS tapes, understanding the first runs and the things that really pin it into the upper echelon of rarity.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And, for sealed VHS tapes, especially, we've been kind of diving into the different variants and understanding like Academy screeners. Actually, this is one I had to show you. This is pretty awesome. We're really excited about this one. But we had, speaking of signatures as well, but it's an Academy screener of Lord of the Rings: Return of the King. And we actually had it signed by all 4 of the Hobbits and Andy Serkis as well.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Really, yeah, it's still sealed. Yeah, very cool. Yeah. It's interesting to see how many of these are not, how few of them are produced originally.
They were expensive. I mean, that's really what it comes down to, is that these things were not cheap, and the more expensive the stuff is, typically the harder it is to find in sealed or good condition later on. Because if you paid a lot of money for something, or if you mailed in for it, you're going to use it. Like some of the toughest tapes are the mail-in tapes, because you would have submitted online, or I mean, not online, excuse me. That's years later. You would have seen something on TV. You would have called in, hey, I want this tape for this reason. And then they mail it to you like 3 weeks later. Yeah. And so those tapes are really, really tough.
Totally. Yeah. And it was fun too, meeting Elijah Wood. And he also signed, I had a DVD of Return of the King from Blockbuster. That was never returned. I just bought it on eBay. But it was really cool because he saw it and he borderline freaked out over it. This is amazing. He was taking photos of it with his own phone, and it was just fun to see the nostalgia kick in for Elijah Wood. I mean, someone who signs like probably hundreds, if not thousands, of collectibles weekly. It's pretty awesome to see him get excited about something like that. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, we definitely made a splash at the Michael J. Fox table at Fan Expo a couple years, or not even a couple years ago, like back in like November. But yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
very cool.
So
but we showed up to the table with like probably 20 things to sign and like maybe 5 people to like get them through the line, and it was a little hectic. We learned our lesson. I think we're gonna go a little smaller next time.
It was a lot. It was a lot, yeah. Especially
definitely worth it to get the signatures, but we were worried that it was going to be our last opportunity to ever get something signed by Michael J. Fox. So we wanted to take advantage and get as much done as we could. Yeah,
it was so chaotic, Jared, and we're running through because they were pushing people in and out. And one of the tapes I had was a friend's first print of Back to the Future, and it got signed by Michael J. Fox. And I'm like, everyone needs to calm down. This is literally probably a $40,000 tape. I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is insane. It's a high grade too. And then they took a deep breath. Like, okay, here, just come to the side. We'll help you get through.
Yeah,
it was nuts. But yeah, big shout out to Rewind Grading. This is awesome. I love the casings. This is so cool.
So cool. Dan does a great job over there.
Yeah, big shout out to Dan, Callum, and the rest of the team.
Yeah, they were able to help us clean up a signature too that we had a little snafu on. Yeah, Christopher Lloyd's signature got like totally like smudged and everything, and they were at Rewind. They had somebody who was able to help clean up that signature for us and make it look normal again.
Yeah, definitely.
Dry erase marker. It will do wonders sometimes. That stuff. So
I don't trust myself enough. Not with something like that.
I came from the sports industry a while ago, and somebody signs a helmet, they change the team. You got to get that signature off the helmet somehow. So
yeah, right. Yeah,
that's the way you do it.
Or just get both helmets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hey, just art, just a way to make money again.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
We actually I think at this point probably kind of a while ago, maybe like 9 months ago or something like that, we had AMG Robbie on the podcast talking about the Eminem vinyl sale. And I understand that you were a part of that sale as well. Would love to hear a little bit, your perspective on that, and you being involved in it from the Goldin side of things.
Well, on a personal note, one of the craziest things about Eminem is he was my first CD.
Oh,
Slim
cool.
Shady LP. I always ask people, "What's your
Yeah,
first CD?" It's one of my classic
that's
icebreakers.
awesome.
And for me, it was Slim Shady. So when I found out that we had the opportunity to work with him, I jumped all over the opportunity. Spoke with Ken about it. It was really something that Ken had more involvement with, being that it was a very high level activity being with Eminem. He's not a very
Hmm.
social guy, as you guys
Sure.
know.
Yeah.
Come from a comic collector side of things, he's kind of somebody that likes to, keep himself away from the public. So it was just a really interesting opportunity to be able to bring something so rare and so unique from his career onto the platform, and obviously display sealed vinyl and kind of the rarity and the things that go into musicians' careers that are
Mhm.
really, really cool outside of just the production run items that you typically see in stores.
Yeah.
It's such an incredible piece, and yeah, love AMG and all the stuff that they're doing over there. I mean, just like the attention to detail they have, and like the number of unique, different grading cases they have for like every single possible size piece of music media out there. It's cool, and obviously the Steve Aoki, it's his company, he's involved with it. It's yeah, great to see him all over it too.
Yeah, I
I'm gonna.
mean, I'm all for it. It's something where when you get into the real beginnings of these guys with the tapes and the media, it gets
Mhm.
really interesting to see, man, they only produced this many of this. And like at that
Yeah,
time,
yeah,
they had no idea. They didn't even know what they were going to do or how important this was going to be. And so
Right.
just to have this after all these years is really, really special. And obviously, with the price, it warrants that.
yeah. I love the video that Golden put out with Ken Golden explaining what the collectible is and how significant it is, how rare it is, and also the fact that Eminem signed it. And they had a video of him actually signing it as well, which is so cool. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's so like what being able to own this collectible and having the video of him signing it and understand the significance of it. That's really special. That's really, really
Yeah, we
special.
we flew that up to Detroit, had him do that, and
Wow.
he was geeking out over it himself, and so it was
Sure.
Oh man.
yeah, that was a really cool experience, and just to know it passed through his hands, you would
Yeah.
you would think it did,
Yeah.
just because of how rare these are without seeing that video, but just to know with the video makes it that much more special in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys do such a good job of like making collectibles sexy, and like
Yeah.
making
Yeah.
just like the marketing of it. Like you guys, I mean,
100%.
and
Yeah.
we'll get to it a little bit later, but with King of Collectibles and everything you guys kind of do on the marketing and social media side of things, it's just impressive. You guys are kind of putting a fresh spin on things that I think a lot of the other auction houses haven't really caught up in that way yet. So yeah, just I really enjoy your content.
Hey, appreciate that. We do the best we can. It's been tough kind of building the pop culture aspect of it, and part of it is building that content and having people understand this stuff because we did come from a sports audience, and doing videos like that and having such a great marketer in Ken is really important to be able to
Mhm.
kind of give these things the story that they need, because a lot of this stuff needs more detail. Like I started the episode with, like it's just a little bit more intricate than a graded sports card or anything like that when you start getting into the pop culture. And so, for me, it was the perfect synergy to do this, and I'm glad people are enjoying it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I was wondering, so of the things that are currently on auction right now with Goldin, what are some of the things that you're most excited about?
So I'm going to throw you guys a bone here, being comics and crypto, but
Yeah.
lot number one, the Superman 1.5, that thing's awesome. I mean, you guys know the yellow coloring is something that's typically sun faded. It's a tough color. It's pretty vibrant there for a 1.5. It's an iconic book. It's something where you just put that thing away. I don't really, I don't see any problem with it. It's one of those grail type pieces, and something that, to me, if given the opportunity, a low grade is probably where I would have to look myself.
To own this in any
so-
grade would be so special. Yeah.
Yeah, and so like this gives the people that might really, really enjoy it an opportunity to own one. I'm not saying if you had the money for a 5.0 or something, you wouldn't enjoy it, but you probably have a little bit more disposable income. So I'm interested to see if a true collector ends up with this one and it gets stashed away for a long time.
Yeah, that's incredible. And for everyone out there, Superman 1 is it's actually the first series for a superhero ever, which is really cool too. There's only 76 blue labels on the CGC census, and the record for this comic is for $5.3 million back in 2022, and that record might be broken soon.
Yeah.
But wow, I mean, it just shows the significance of and how rare these are. It's really exciting.
Yeah, like you said, in any grade, it's really just that's a price. Hey, you can,
Hey, it's
you can
good
trade
perspective.
right there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty good trade.
there's a lot of time. There's 14 days. What do we got? Not 14. It's 11 days
11
left.
days.
And so there's and most of the action happens late. I'm sure you guys follow the auction. You talk about it, but it's crazy at the end. It's super exciting. So anyway, expect a lot more action on that one.
Yeah. Something else, actually. Go ahead. Sorry, Jared.
No, go ahead.
I'm pivoting the conversation. So there's actually, I just realized if you buy, and this is something we didn't actually have in the questions that I'd love to bring up, is if you buy a collectible and you have it shipped to the PSA vault, maybe we could talk a little bit about the advantages of that. It's actually really exciting for me personally, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on the rewards of shipping your items to the PSA vault.
Sure. I mean, it's a great opportunity to take advantage of a secure space. Something like this is fairly iconic. There's a lot of comics that maybe people wouldn't know if they were laying around. This is one of those that if this was in your house, you'd probably want to protect it. Any Jim Bob is going to know what this thing is. And so having something in the vault is super advantageous in that way. You get to see it. It's kind of like a intangible asset that you get to have on your account at that point. And anytime you could send it back. And then for most people, the fees is really something that's advantageous, as you get to eliminate those shipping and those state taxes by holding your item in Delaware and at a vault. And so for me, I utilize it for a lot of items that I think are things that I wouldn't want around my house, and or maybe might be a little bit big. I tend to use that, and the removal fee is only $1 to $5, depending on if you take it out within 90 days. So for me, it's a no-brainer. It's something where if I don't have a big invoice, I always send it to the vault just because of shipping.
Yeah.
And so it kind of makes things easier. And then obviously, if I do have a big invoice, I win a lot of stuff. We want to then get those things and have them, like the stuff behind me. And I'll tend to ship that. But those are the advantages of the vault, in my opinion.
Yeah. Actually, it's quite funny. The first time that I had it shipped to the PSA vault, it's some VHS tapes that Spencer and I purchased off Goldin, and it was an accident. I'm like, wait a minute, where's it going? And I wasn't really sure what this was all about. Then I started to realize, oh my gosh, it's in a secure place. I have access to this. I could essentially cash it out and have it shipped to me after a period of time for only $1, or up to $5, like you mentioned. Or I can just have it put back up on auction if I end up wanting to sell it again. I mean, that is awesome. And there's no cost to hold it in the vault. Is that correct?
Correct. And as a consignment director, I can tell you it's super easy to get your stuff into auction once it's in the vault. I just had a PSA 10 Charizard first edition. Usually this is a logistical step. Okay, just got the guy to consign it. That's wonderful. Now, how are we getting it here? Guy's like, oh, it's in my vault. Beautiful. That's perfect.
All right.
Yeah. So just to put it into perspective for us logistically and operationally, it makes everything a lot smoother. We're able to process your items a bit quicker into the auctions that way. And so it is something where there's a lot of advantages from a lot of different standpoints. And they made that on purpose, And so not like most people watching this really care about that side of things, but it does make the process easier and more secure if you do have to ship your collectibles for sale, because it's already in their hands. They have to insure it, and you don't have anything to do with it. Because I can tell you horror stories from UPS stores.
Oh my gosh,
of course, yeah.
Just without going into detail, those stores are not owned by UPS. Keep your receipts. You drop something off, if it doesn't get scanned by UPS, a UPS driver, you are totally done. And so
that's terrifying.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the more you deal with this stuff, the more you encounter things. And so just take advantage of those easy access points when you have them, like the vault.
Yeah. I think like also as like from like an investor perspective, like it just gives you a lot more agility in the market. So like if you are trying to like do something more of a short-term play, or if you're trying to flip something, like it's ready and they're ready to put on auction right when you need it, rather than you gotta, oh, something just happened in the news, now I want to go ship it, and by the time it gets on auction then that event's already over. And so it definitely, I feel like from an investor's perspective it definitely helps.
Yeah, particularly with like baseball prospects or NFL quarterbacks.
Sure.
You're really able to time that stuff. And sometimes the difference of a week is thousands with different cards.
True. Yeah. Or like during the playoffs or it's, I remember like Brock Purdy a couple years ago, like as the playoffs are going on, like you kind of had to time it during that period.
Yeah. I mean, Lamar Jackson, even this playoffs, like he was hot as a pistol, and then they lost, and I mean, stuff was going for a fraction, and that's just the way that those cards are. But it gives you that flexibility, to your point, so you are more liquid.
Yeah, definitely. And it's interesting too, because I'm sure a lot of collectors, they think about, well, I never have a chance to actually hold the item in my hand. But actually, there's a lot of collectors today that collect in the digital side, and that's kind of a language that's really easily to understand. And that actually kind of pivots to our next question. We've seen emergence of a lot of platforms like Candy Digital and VV Digital Collectibles. I'm not sure if you're familiar with those, but we're starting to see these licensed digital collectibles from some of the biggest brands in the world, including like Marvel and DC and Disney. Do you think it'll be possible to see digital collectibles on Goldin in the future? I believe I've seen NFTs sold, but maybe some that are actually licensed from big brands.
Yes. I do think that that's very possible as those things become more mainstream and there's more of a secondary market. There's going to be more of an opportunity to kind of incorporate those into the auction sales. And so all it takes is somebody giving it a shot. A lot of times we have a lot of the right people in the right place at the right time, which is why, we are very good at what we do. And so sometimes when you do get a new collectible like that and it hits our auction, it goes for much more than where it typically ends up. And so things like that do make their way to us. And I can tell you with certainty that these big companies are looking for ways to kind of build in these revenue streams with that kind of stuff. And collecting and really connecting to the end user is a big goal of those big corporations. And so we've had contracts with Disney and Marvel actually accepted for items to go into auction recently, which for years they never let anything go into the public. And so that's with a manufacturer of gemstones, with somebody who's making a infinity stone. And so it's or a gauntlet glove, excuse me. And so that's going to be a really cool opportunity that there will be more details on in our May sale. But they are looking into that stuff, to your point, and the digital aspects of it are the easiest way for them to connect.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
And I feel like it's a no-brainer for, companies like VV or Candy Digital to want to have their items on a platform like Goldin, because it just gives them a lot more visibility for their platform and for digital collecting in general, which is, what we're all trying to promote. So yeah, hopefully that kind of stuff happens soon. We'd love to see it. I mean, we definitely have some very cool digital collectibles that we'd love to put up on Goldin at some point in the future.
Hey,
Yeah, like
we're open to it.
special mint numbers, and yeah, like people are very excited, about like things like so like the serial numbers on the NFTs, because all of the NFTs are, completely identical. The only thing that you can differentiate value on basically is on that mint number. So, people assign a lot of value to special mint numbers, like associated to like the publishing year of a comic book, or, of a brand or something like that, or like a lot of like Marvel collectors will collect like mint number 616 because that's the the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Some people like palindromes. Some people, people collect all sorts of different things, low mints. But you see a pretty good premium on a lot of those mint numbers in the marketplace in comparison to like just like the kind of regular numbers, let's say.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really remarkable seeing a lot of collectors who never really collected in their lives started collecting on the digital side, collecting these digital collectibles, which on Vivi you can also use an augmented reality, which is very promising for the future of the Apple Vision with the Apple Vision Pro coming out. But what's really exciting is that they're not just into digital now. Now they're collecting physical collectibles. They're not just focusing on digital. They're excited about collecting in general. Like, we've told the story quite a few times, but a couple years ago at New York Comic Con, I met an older gentleman. He said, "Sean, I'm 50 years old. I've never been to a Comic Con in my life. And last year I spent about $100,000 on physical comics because I am so excited, because I got started in the digital collecting space." And that is really cool. We've seen that quite often. Met hundreds of people that are now going to Comic Cons and comic shops. They're buying VHS tapes. They're buying cassettes. It's really cool to see their excitement for the collecting space in general. It's a whole new audience of collectors.
Yeah, I mean, all this stuff kind of filters in, and I really think the end game is going to be somewhere in between physical and digital with both.
Totally.
Like utilizing the vault with your virtual reality system, being able to see your collectible or get a really, really close up image of something before you buy it and inspect it in a 3D kind of sense, and having the ability to spin it and see that kind of stuff. Like that, to me, once you mix those two, that's where it's going to really get exciting. And so there's going to be also physical attached with digital and vice versa. And so as they get more connected, I think you're going to see that digital space just keep kind of climbing up and up.
Totally.
Yeah. Yeah. And just to be clear, we support both sides. VHS tapes and games behind us. We are so excited for the future of physical and digital collectibles. And that's really the core foundation of our podcast, to help bridge the two worlds. Because we really look at the collectible space as one market cap, and it's exciting. They support each other over time, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it all kind of filters in.
Oh, sorry about that, Brian.
Jared, I'm curious, since you're so into the Pokemon market, are you familiar with a platform called Courtyard.io?
I have not heard of Courtyard.
No, it's on the Polygon blockchain. But it's basically they're tokenizing physical Pokemon cards, and they're doing vaulting. I think they use Brinks for their vaulting, and basically an NFT is created when you send in. It's the exact same similar system of what you guys are doing, but it's actually being done on chain, where an NFT represents an actual physical graded Pokemon card that's in the vault. It can be traded multiple times before it gets redeemed. But they have something really interesting where you actually, if you're the person who actually mints the NFT initially or sends in the card for the first time, you get a portion of the sales of that card as it gets sold over time. So if it gets sold 100 times, you get a percentage of that sale 100 times, which is pretty cool because you're the one who actually minted it and put it on chain.
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, you would get it for perpetuity, and I mean, for some items, that's very important. I know for set collectors, they like to know where they come from, who they
Totally.
come from. Obviously, with comics, there's some of those pedigrees, and like if those were on blockchain, or if people had a better ability to kind of trace the ownership, people would get more excited, I think, and especially with the stuff that's going on with CGC right now. Obviously, that's a whole nother episode that I'm sure you guys have covered with their cases, but the blockchain kind of protects people from being invisible, I guess you would say. It makes the sale, hey, this happened to this person at this time, it was owned by so and so, and a lot of the times that provenance does help these things. So I think that's a good idea, and I'll have to look into that platform.
Yeah, it's definitely a cool one. I don't have any Pokemon cards personally. I haven't really gotten big into collecting those, so I haven't put anything up on the platform. But I'm excited for them to experiment with some other categories, so I can send some things in. Yeah,
If you ever need any help, you let me know.
I will. Definitely will.
Well, last year, I believe it was last year, we saw the release of The King of Collectibles on Netflix. What an awesome show highlighting the collectible space, and also just the team at Goldin Auctions. It was absolutely blast. I loved it. I watched it actually multiple times. And I can't believe announced that there's going to be a season 2. Is there any updates on when that'll be released?
So the only thing we're able to say about season 2 is that it's due in Q2 of this year. So we're there. Obviously, that could be tomorrow, or that could be towards later in the quarter. But it's something where you'll have to tune in to Netflix announcements to know the official time. But there is a season 2. Was highly involved with getting those items and making sure we do have a good pop culture presence. Personally, I'm not involved in the show. I kind of hang around the background, and Ryan, Carlo, Dave, and Ken do such a great job with that stuff, and I'm always pulling for them and the bits, and I'm super excited to see it as well. So I'll be one of the first people streaming it all the way through. There's no doubt about that.
That's awesome, Jared. Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, it was really fun just to see an entertaining show about collectibles, but also help educate people on the value of what these things are selling for. Because a lot of people still don't realize that comic books are valuable. They have no idea. And it's very surprising to them when they see a show like this that highlights not just comics or not just sports cards, but just collectibles in general. And I love the variety that was shown in season 1. And I hope that it's continued. I'm sure it'll be continued in season 2.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be doing a lot more. There's more episodes. It's gonna be something where there's an opportunity for a lot more items. You're gonna see more comics, so that will be good for you guys. I don't think anything major made it into season 1, if I don't recall. You can
correct a ton of comics. It was most of the stuff. Yeah.
So keep an eye out for that stuff, and obviously. Just trying to bring attention to everything. I can't even tell you how many Beanie Baby emails I got about so much stuff. I mean, I'm not even kidding. I had an ex-girlfriend from 7 years ago. Hope my hit me up. She's like, "Hey, my mom has these Beanie Babies. Like, what do you think?" And I'm just like,
I don't know. They're probably
You might not see Beanie Babies make a return in the season 2, huh?
No, you just gotta keep in mind, some things for show, some things for dough, just like anything else. And a lot of the times when you do hit the masses, that's good. And so just like Pokemon, everybody always thinks they have something valuable with Pokemon because everybody's got Pokemon cards and knows somebody that has them. Similar to comics, most people know someone that has a comic or something, but at the same time, most of them aren't. Most of them aren't valuable, and so that's kind of the beauty in collectibles. It's just that hunt and that intrigue, and people thinking that they have something. And there's other stories to that where people have no idea what they have. They contact me or us, and we change their life with the ability to not put them in a situation other than to help them. Because a lot of times knowledge is power, and if you're put in the wrong situation and you don't have knowledge, and
somebody can take advantage.
Takes advantage of you. And so it's important to work with people that are not only honest but have a good reputation, and also serve your best interests. Like, I can honestly say, anybody on the Goldin team, your item or your consignment is not as big as what their overall goal is, and so they will always want to help you and do everything they can to make sure that they feel your pain as a collector, or your pride and your joy. And so with that, like I said, hopefully everybody enjoys season 2. I know that Ken and the team did a great job, and I'm looking forward to it.
Likewise, we're very excited.
If you're able to share a little bit of the behind the scenes, I'm kind of curious the process. Like, is it like if something like really cool comes across your desk, are you like, hold up, we got to save this for the Netflix show? Or like, is that kind of how it works? Like,
so what we do is we have the ability to submit things for review to the producers, because the producers run the show. We can't really say, hey, you got to put this in there because our client is saying he needs it. Like, even then, if something is filmed, it doesn't guarantee that it makes the final cut.
Right.
And so when something cool hits our desk, it's flagged for the producers, and then the producers will reach out and kind of gather the information on the individual, who it's consigned by, what the story is, make sure there's no issues with copyrights or anything of that magnitude. And then we kind of get into what makes it special, and give them the ability to make something cool out of this opportunity. And so a lot of it starts with just people hitting us up that have random items, and just want to see if their stuff's valuable. And it turns out, hey, you got something really cool here, something that would work for the show, and it filters its way back in, and you'll see a lot of that stuff this season. Because, like I said, there's more episodes, and so there's more opportunities to present cool stuff.
Nice. I'm glad to hear there's more episodes. I was definitely left wanting more on the last one. So yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing how fast the market can change, and how things can just come out of nowhere. I mean, like for VHS tapes, it's pretty remarkable. I mean, I believe the highest sale was on Goldin Auction. Is that correct? The Star Wars tape?
I believe so, for the Star Wars.
$114,000 for a first commercial release, Star Wars. Pretty remarkable. And like probably 5-10 years ago, people weren't even thinking about VHS tapes. They're just tossing them out. Now they're getting graded by 4 or 5 different companies. It's amazing.
Yeah, that whole thing. It was only a matter of time. It's something where a lot of people connect with them. I connect with them big time. I still think about those orange cassette or those orange VHS tapes from Nickelodeon.
The Rugrats tapes, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And so I was one of those people, and so I'm just happy to be a part of presenting that for people like yourselves to enjoy it and to bid on it, and being a part of that record, being that I did get that item consigned.
That's awesome, Jared. Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, and it makes total sense. We've been talking about this for the past year and a half. It's only a matter of time before sealed media just disappears in general, and there's potentially a lot of opportunity right now that people aren't really thinking about because they're just available. But like Best Buy announced that they're going to stop selling DVDs and Blu-rays, and it's only a matter of time before other companies follow.
I think everyone's going to stop. Yeah.
And these are going to become relics of the past and
similar to
pop culture. Yeah.
Yeah. Similar to what I said with autographs. That's some of that foresight that you have to understand, is like, when things are getting phased out, people still connect with the stuff that they enjoyed. And so when things do start to get phased out, you gotta kind of look at that as hey, maybe there's an opportunity here. At least that's how I do, being someone that's grown up in this field.
Yeah, absolutely. Jared, I can't thank you enough for coming on today. Everyone out there, make sure to follow Goldin at Goldin Co, both Instagram and Twitter, and keep an eye out for season 2 of King Collectibles. We're super excited about that show, and Netflix just drops shows, so I'm sure we're just going to probably find out in the very near future. It's just going to drop on us, so very excited for that.
And also check out our newsletter if you're not already signed up.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be announcing season 2 of King Collectibles in there as well. So
I'm sure. Yeah.
Jared, thanks again for coming on. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's been a great time, guys.
Yeah, likewise. And thank you everybody for joining today. It's been a lot of fun, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.